Welcome to Sunday service, everyone. My name, for those who don't know us, my name's Anandi. This is my husband, Bharat. And we're welcoming lots of people today. We have those who've come from the neighborhood. We have those who've spent the weekend with us. And we have those who have arrived early for our week of spiritual renewal, which starts this evening. So it is a real joy and blessing to have you all here. We'll begin with a reading from Rays of the One Light, weekly commentaries on parallel passages in the Bible and the Bhagavad Gita. This week's reading is called, Does God Hide the Truth? Truth is one and eternal. Realize oneness with it in your deathless self within. The following commentary is based on the teachings of Paramahansa Yogananda. In last week's reading, we saw that the great masters themselves counseled discretion in the dissemination of truth. The counter-argument is sometimes made, but the Lord doesn't hide. He reveals his beauty in the sunsets, his tender sympathy in the rain, his wrath in the thunder, his restless energy in the brooks, his power in the sunlight. There are exoteric truths, and there are also esoteric truths. There is that which is revealed impersonally and left up to us to interpret, such as thunder and our perception of it as divine wrath, the rain and our perception of it as God's sympathy. But behind even God's most open expressions, there lies impenetrable mystery. The wind blows where it wills, says Jesus in chapter 3 of the Gospel of St. John. You hear the sound of it, but you do not know where it comes from or where it is going. So is everyone who is born of the Spirit. And Sri Krishna says in the 9th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, by me, the whole vast universe of things is spread abroad. By me, the unmanifest. In me are all existences contained, not I in them. God's hidden reality cannot be understood by the reasoning faculty. India's Shankya philosophy states frankly, Ishwar Ashidha, God is not provable. A willingness to seek the underlying reality behind appearances is essential for those who would know God. Thus, through Holy Scripture, God has spoken to mankind. Om, Om,
I also would like to welcome all of our Ananda friends who have come from so far and also from so close to help us all celebrate Ananda's 40th Spiritual Renewal Week. And may we all tune into this wonderful ray of grace that we've received through our line of masters, and may we all share it with others more deeply. I'll begin with a reading from Whispers from Eternity. I wandered through the forests of incessant searchings and arrived at the mystery door of thy presence. On the doors of silence I knocked loudly with my persistent blows of faith, and the doors of space opened. There on the altar of glorious visions I beheld thee resting. I stood with restless eyes waiting for thee to speak. I heard not thy creation-making voice. At last the spell of stillness stole upon me, and in the whispers taught me the language of angels. With lisping voice of newborn freedom, I tried to speak, and the lights of thy temple assumed sudden brilliancy and wrote letters of light. In my little chamber of quietness, I am always resting. I never speak but with the voice of my silence. Through my silence, eloquently converse with me. Paramahansa Yogananda once had a samadhi where Divine Mother was taking him through the universe. And Master was just laughing delightfully and saying, "That's how you did it. That's how you did it." And when people read about all the different samadhi experiences in the autobiography of a yogi, what's the universal response? Boy, that's for me. And we think samadhi is very nice. And Swami said that it's no Sunday picnic. Actually, just a couple of weeks ago, a woman wrote to me and said, "How many people at Ananda have already had samadhi?" And I actually didn't know, but could we have people raise your hands if you... But maybe we just have a lot of humble people here in the audience. Dr. Lewis once said he cornered Master, and Dr. Lewis had been going deep in meditation, and he asked Master, to give me samadhi. And Master just looked at him very fiercely and said, "Could you take samadhi? Could you take the revolutionary change of your whole being?" And he looked at Dr. Lewis with such energy that Dr. Lewis pulled back and he said, "No, sir, I can't." And it reminds me of a beautiful story. The mother, a very advanced disciple of Sri Aurobindo, she had a vegetable garden, and when she'd go out every morning to pick the vegetables, she could actually sense some of the vegetables saying, "Don't take me, don't take me." They weren't ready. And then others were saying, "Take me, please, take me." And we're just like that. Actually, it's usually not a one or thing, because we do ask God to take us, and we want to merge with God, but we're complex individuals, and there's just a lot of parts to our makeup. In the Bhagavad Gita, Swami has talked about how the soul over incarnations will develop a strategy for survival and how to cope with life. And you can't, and it's hard and difficult for a soul to change immediately in one transformation, just because it has a strategy it's adopted that's worked very well, and it's hard to change gears so quickly. There's a spiritual teacher, Iknan Ashwaran, and he's from India, and his grandmother was his spiritual teacher when she was young, or when he was young. And she wanted him to understand the meaning of attachment. So she said, "I would like you to sit in this rocking chair, and then I'm going to pull you up. But I want you to hold on as tight as you can." And so Shravan held on to the rocking chair, and she went to pull him, and he was only 8 or 9 years old. So she was still strong, his grandmother, and so she pulled, and she was able to pull him out of the rocking chair. And then she said, "Now I want you to sit in the rocking chair, and I want you just to come up as I lift you out." And so he came up, and she said, "What did you learn?" "Well, the first time, grandmother, it hurt." And she said, "That's the meaning of attachment. When we're attached to this physical world, and when we try to leave it, we experience pain." And all of us have picked up vegetables out of the garden, and there may be some that start to come up. But do you notice that that they have roots underneath? And maybe you've got it halfway up, but it still has roots that are still in the soil, and it's that still holding on that creates that resistance. And so that's that's why samadhi takes a long time, because to experience our oneness is because everything has to be removed. I'd like to think that it's really God waiting for us to convince ourselves. And once we're truly convinced that we want only God, then God can take us, because God won't do violence to our nature. And he wants it to, of course, to be a totally free offering on our part. Once Paramahansa Yogananda was asked, why did Rajarsi Janakananda, his most advanced disciple, why was he able to progress so quickly on the path? And Yogananda said that he knows how to listen. And that was his secret. And he was just very deeply receptive. Henry David Thoreau said that wisdom does not inspect, but beholds. And I was just trying to think of the difference of really these two different responses to life. Because when we inspect, we're kind of looking at it like this and going, now, what do I think about this? Do I like this? Do I not like this? Or this should really be another way. Or that reminds me of something that I already know. And then you contrast that with behold, where we're just uplifted, we're open, we're silent, we're receiving. And that's when we can take in the Spirit of God. And God can come to us because we're open and ready to receive Him. There's a beautiful story said during the Depression. It's a true story. There weren't too many jobs, as you know, and there was a job for a telegraph operator advertised, and so the whole waiting room was packed with people. And they were all talking amongst themselves and joking. It was mostly men, and so there was a real lightheartedness in the room, and people were all talking. And then very quietly in Morse code in the room was a message that said, if you can hear this message, come into the office and accept this job. And so this man he wasn't talking. I forgot to mention that. He was just sitting quietly, and he heard that message, and he went in, and he was able to attain the position. And God is always speaking to us, always, isn't He? Through the sound of Om. I love when Swami, in Revelations of Christ, he said that Om is Divine Mother calling all who love her to come back into her presence. And then God is speaking to us through our conscience. And we just have to be into a place where we're listening. There was a period in my life some time ago where I had a series of dreams that made me sort of stand up and notice because there was something going on at Ananda, and I was off doing something else, and I was trying to get to what was going on, but I was sort of doing something else, and I was like trying, and this whole thing was happening. And it's like that way with all of us. We have different things, don't we, that are drawing us away from our focus or what we're doing. And of course, whatever we do, if we can do it with the Spirit of God, it is blessed. But God is in a talk once. Swami was how to commune with God. He was saying that we always say, "Oh, well, God, do you want me to do this? God, would you like me to do that?" And God says, "Well, very well. That would be nice. But really, what He wants us to do is sit and commune with His presence, and then act from that presence and that inspiration." The wilderness is, in mystical literature, has always been a symbol for inner stillness. And of course, this is how we experience truth. I love the image of John Muir. He was once in the Yosemite wilderness, and he was at Lake Nevada, and it was in the evening time. And he said that there's calm is so deep that the grasses cease waving, There's not a cloud memory in the sky, not a lake ripple, not a ripple memory in the lake, excuse me. And then he stood up and he just started shouting with joy, and he said, "And heaven has come down to earth." And that is our experience when we have the cessation of thoughts. Master said that when motion stops, God begins, and that all good things come to us from stillness. We're able to experience calm and poise in our lives. We're able to attune ourselves to all realities and really understand the subtleties of our existence. And it's only through that deep stillness that it all comes. And more and more I've come to realize the importance of being concentrated in every moment in meditation. Because if we start to have other thoughts, what are we doing at that time in our meditation? Aren't we saying that, don't take me right now, I'll get back to you in just a moment? And we're trying to create a sense of momentum, and more, as a master said, that Paramahansa Yogananda said, that if we can calm our bodies right now, if we can calm our minds, if we can calm our emotions, we'll be able to experience our true self and the throbbing joy of God, and our body as the universe. It's just a moment away. And so as you're meditating, really honor each moment, each opportunity, and stay in the presence of God as much as you can. But, concentration, if you're new to meditation, concentration is like a muscle. The more you concentrate, the stronger your ability to concentration comes. So this will come in time. And as you become more absorbed in the stillness, as you observe the breath, the sounds, the inner sounds, your mind will be more interiorized, and it'll be harder to leave that experience that you're having. But again, it comes by ruthlessly just saying, no, I'm with God right now. I want to be with God, and nothing else between me and God right now. Henry David Thoreau wrote a beautiful statement that we should adhere to before we go for a nature walk. And I'd like to read it to you. We should go forth on the shortest walk in the spirit of undying adventure, never to return. If you are ready to leave father and mother, wife and child and friends, and never see them again, if you have paid your debts and made your will, and settled all your affairs, and are a free man, then you are ready for a walk. Well, if this advice applies to a mere walk in the woods, think about what we need to do if we want to go deep in meditation. To be fair to Henry David Thoreau, his walking was a form of meditation. He was very, very strict about his walks. One time he was going out into the forest outside of Concord, and he got a mile into the forest, and he realized during that whole time that his mind was on his pencil business. So he turned around and walked back and started his walk anew, and just trying to be totally in the present moment. Well, that same type of urgency is required when we do our meditation practice, isn't it? There's a beautiful story of how they train parrots in India. To get a parrot to speak the human language, what they do is they put a mirror in front of the parrot, and then the human trainer stands behind the mirror and then starts speaking. And the parrot, seeing what it thinks is another parrot speaking to it, starts to pick up the human language. And And so that's how it learns. And you know, this analogy works very, very well for the guru, because the guru, the great saints, come to us and they appear to be a human being, but they aren't a human being, are they? They actually, as Swami always says, they are the only ones truly human, in the sense that they know themselves as God. And sometimes we can not really see who's really there. I remember in the early days of the monastery, there was a saint who came in the village, and he told the young monks, all of us, said, "You will never know who Swami Kriyananda is while he's alive." Well, I think we're growing more and more to really know who he is. It's hard not to notice who he is. But it's, when I was thinking about, does God hide the truth? He doesn't really hide the truth. He's just so manifested in all our lives. You know, Swami said that if the avatars didn't come to us, he doesn't think anybody would seek God. But it's only through their example and through their grace that we have an idea of what's possible. When Master once looked at all his disciples and he said, "You don't know how beautiful you are," it was because his consciousness was so beautiful that people felt that I might be beautiful too. When I was just new at Ananda, I was just maybe 6 months here. We were down in Davis, I think it was, and there was a spiritual fair, and Swami came into the room, and he said, "Good morning, great souls." And he said it in such a thrilling way that I looked around to see who were these great souls that I'd been in the room with. And I looked, and then I realized that he was speaking to each one of us. And isn't that when we come in the presence of the Guru, even if it's in our meditations, we read our writings, we feel the potential of our goodness, our spiritual worth. And that truth becomes more and more real to us. And we've been given a tremendous opportunity in this lifetime. We have a spiritual community. We have a line of masters that have been coming throughout the ages for us. And we have a disciple, a great disciple, who is really carrying their work out into the world in so many beautiful ways. And we have techniques that we can practice. And let's try to use every moment so that we can say with our whole being, "Take me, take me." And that God sees no roots hanging into the earth on our part, but he just sees pure air and the desire and the willingness to merge with him. God bless you all.